Hey guys, welcome back to the Unfiltered Gamer board game review. Today's game up on the tabletop is called Shark Island by Upper Deck. Shark Island by Upper Deck is for 2 to 5 players, and basically you're going to be playing as either a shark or you're going to be playing as the people trying to hunt the shark. Now, you're going to be people in boats, you got people in their little plane crafts, stuff like that. And what's going to happen is you're going to be revealing tiles, moving around on this island, and searching for the shark. The shark player is going to be trying to hide from other players, as he would, and eat everybody else. He's kind of like the ominous shark, and they're all trying to hunt him, kind of like in that movie, Jaws. And so the shark is chasing around his objectives while the players are chasing around him. If the players find him, they fight him. If they don't, the shark is able to terrorize and gain certain objectives and whatnot, and then the hunters will kind of get a little reprieve. And the way fighting is going to be taking place is kind of a similar style to the game 21, the card game 21, which you're going to be using these numbers, and you'll be trying to hit as close to it as you possibly can, and the shark's going to do the same thing. Everybody's going to have their own unique little board, as well as their own little special abilities and whatnot, and you're going to be trying to achieve their best actions possible, finding the shark and doing damage to him. Now, if the shark is able to accomplish one of his objectives, which could be to acclaim national press or make the mayor leave town, then the shark will win. However, if the players are able to kill the shark before the shark can gain his fame, then the players are going to win. Alright guys, let me go and show you the game. So here we have the setup for Shark Island and all the different components and whatnot. You're going to be getting this nice little blue buoy here, which you can use to roll die or hold tokens. Everybody's going to get their own little player stand, including the shark, as well as some action die for the players. There's going to be this nice little shark fighting deck that you'll be getting that's similar to a poker deck with a couple action cards and whatnot. You're going to be getting terror tokens the shark is going to try and gain so that he can do things like get the mayor fired, or maybe, these are all mayor fires, aren't they? Resort closed. And if he can do that, that's his victory condition there. There's reroll tokens. These are all the different characters along with their own special abilities, how many search die they get to use on their turn, as well as the fight symbols they have. You're going to be getting this calendar deck where every single round you're going to be flipping one of these over and adding tiles to the game, removing tiles to the game, and the green ones are for the good guys, the red ones are for the shark, and then these are kind of like the neutral ones, I guess, the yellow ones here. These are the simple fight tokens you get throughout the game, in which you're going to be using when you're playing this game to discard and draw a new card or whatever. You're also going to be getting fin tokens for the shark. The shark's going to be able to hide himself within giant manta rays or driftwood or marlins, a whole bunch of different things. The school of fish. They're all relatively the same, but they all provide cover for the shark. These are the shark objective cards, in which you can choose at the beginning of the game what he wants to do and how he wants to accomplish his missions. You've got the tiles with all different sorts of front and back stuff on here. It's going to show you how many fins that can be added to this phase, as well as the terror that could possibly be on the back of it, and this one's 2, but it could have been 2 to 4. Everybody's going to get their own unique deck, including all of the players. They have their own unique action deck, as well as even the shark all by himself. He gets his own action deck. This is going to be the shark's board, in which you'll be playing the 23 game, as well as a bunch of extra bonus tiles, and finally, last but not least, the Shark Island map, where the shark will be hiding his fins and whatnot, as well as a nice little explanation of the entire game, how the phases work, as well as the different symbols and different things on the other cards, and finally what he can spend his tokens on to gain different abilities throughout the game. And these are the little shark tokens that come here. Alright, so now we've gone ahead and set up the game, Shark Island, and as you can see, all the hunters have their fight symbols right here, their fight icons here. They've got their health set up to 2, 3, and 2, depending on the hunter, you're going to have different health. Each of these guys has their own unique ability. I'm not going to really be doing it for this example, but I'll go ahead and read a couple to you after the fin tokens have been placed. But before you take your actions, you may move one fin token from any tile to an adjacent one. This one has the boat track, has an extra space, and over here, this one's a long one. But nevertheless, they have abilities, and they can be used throughout the game during specific periods in time. I'm going to go ahead and go over the first turn of the game so you can see how the game was played. First thing that happens is a player token is passed to the first player, and from repeating this, whenever the next round goes, it just gets to the next player, so on and so forth. Then you're going to draw a calendar card, and these guys here are calendar cards. You're going to flip one over. Like I said before, the red represents the shark, a bad card, and the green represents the hunter's card. And it tells you what the number is of how many extra spaces are going to come out this turn. The spaces are always going to be number of players plus 1. However, this always can change that. So if this was a -1, it would be the number of players plus 1 minus 1. But right now it's just a simple number of players plus 1. So I deal out 4 of these cards here, just like this, leaving the calendar card here. And then all of these calendar cards do have abilities too. This one says the shark can spend 3 of his tokens, and he always starts with 3, just like the hunters start with 2 reroll tokens. And he can choose to spend 3 to make a hunter randomly discard a card from their hand. He can do this as many times as he wants for as many coins as he has. However, he can only do it once to each hunter. After that is done, you're going to place out the fins, or gain fins, I should say. This specific shark, and there might be additional sharks in the future, will start with the shark token as well as 2 random fins. The fins don't do anything, they're neutral, they're good to hide the shark though. And the top of these cards are going to represent the different fins. There's 5 here, this is 4, so 9, 10, 11 total fins. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And these are all just basic random ones, so it really doesn't matter. But also to note, there's going to be this little thing here which you can actually hide your fins so nobody else can see, but for the sake of purposes of explaining, I'm going to remove this. But just pretend like the other players can't see what is going on behind the hunter, behind the shark. Obviously the shark is supposed to be out here so you can see him better, but just for review's sake, we're doing it like this. Okay, so he's got his secret fins, and he's got his shark tokens and all that. He can now go ahead and spend shark tokens as well during this phase. It tells on his chart what he can do. 2 tokens lets him gain an extra fin for the turn, so maybe he wants another one. And 3, he can gain 2 hazard fin tokens, which are like these fog and rammed things. When a hunter slips these over, bad things can happen to their boat. And there's a couple other things that you can be able to do. Then we're going to move on to the next phase, which is the hunter phase. Oh, but before we do that, we're going to actually place down the fins. So we're going to take these, and he would normally randomly hide the shark token in with one of these and shuffle it up, or however he wants to do it. He can place it however he wants, noticing that each hunter during the search phase can only search this many times on each of these tiles, and he can put the fins anywhere he wants, as many as he'd like on each of the spaces. So he can kind of give his own thing here. This one is hard to search here, so it would actually be a good idea to put all those there. But maybe something like this. So there we go. So now he's gone ahead and placed, and behind all these tiles shows you how many terror you can get. This one has 0 to 3 though, so while it's harder to search here, the shark might not get any terror here. So just be aware of that. Now, all the fins are placed, and the hunters will begin their turns. So the first one's going to go is Jo, and she's got the first player token, so she's going to roll action die. And basically just roll all 3 during the action phase. You're always going to roll all 3. When you roll them, you can always choose to spend a reroll token to reroll them all over again. However, if you don't want to, you then choose 2 of these 3 actions and perform them. And there is actually tells you what they all do. The blue one will let you reveal a fin token anywhere on the board for free. The green one lets you draw a hunter skill card. There's represented in the colors, and you can only draw your own. This one here will let you go ahead and repair your ship by 1, so if you've taken damage, you can repair it. And then you've got the shark tokens here, which is whenever you roll one of these and decide to keep this, the shark is going to gain one of their tokens, so that's a very dangerous thing to roll. You can also roll a wild, which is a yellow one here, and that is perform any action that you'd like. A couple other things too is whenever you roll all 3 buoys, the shark will take a damage, and if you roll all 3 sharks, then the shark does something nasty as well. The shark gets something. So that's the idea. So this player can go ahead and choose these 2. Maybe he doesn't want to use his reroll token, so the shark is going to get a point here, and he is going to be able to draw a hunter skill card, and these all present different things. You can do it throughout the game. This is a political influence. It says play in the hunter phase to put 2 active terror tokens back into the terror token pile. Wow. The shark player then randomly draws 2 new ones. Okay. So also to note too, when we're talking about terror, the shark player at the beginning of the game chose one of these here, and he chose Ghost Town, which simply means have 12 total tokens. So it doesn't really matter. But throughout the game, as you gain terror, he's going to try and get 12 of these. However, other scenarios, he might actually just be going for one specific type. So taking those and putting them back and making him choose new ones could make a difference. In this case, however, it won't. Then he's gone ahead and chose his 2, and then he's going to choose now to sail or to dry dock. Setting sail means you get to go to any of these locations here. Dry dock means you stay, but you can heal the full. And if you are crashed, if you've taken all the damage your ship can take, you have to dry dock. So he'll set sail and he can go over here. And then this will proceed for every single player's phase, which they'll be able to do certain things. So like this one, he'll go ahead and draw an extra skill card for this guy. The shark will get another token. And what's the other one here? This one's a wild. So I guess he'll go ahead and use the reveal 1 fish token. So he'll go ahead and flip over one of these. Bam! Oh, didn't get it. If we would have gotten, that would have been great because the shark would have been found. Okay, so he's gone ahead and done that. Then he's going to go ahead and choose to sail. Obviously, he's going to sail over here, I think. And finally, green's turn, in which he'll roll his die. Oh, that's great. 3 sightings. He'll choose these 2 here. He'll flip over this one, and then he'll flip over this one here. Okay, so he's gone ahead and done that. Then after that, everybody has chosen to take their actions, set sail or dry dock. Maybe he'll go over here. Maybe we'll go over here. Then we go on to the search phase. And the search phase works again the same way. It starts with Joe over here, and she gets to roll her search die. She has one of them, so she's going to roll the die. Oh, she got a look, which is great. So that means she gets to peek at any of these tiles here, and she will flip over this one. A Marlin. Nope, no good. Now the next player is going to get 2 search die, and he's going to roll 2. We got 2 searches. That's a search and that's a wild. So flipping over 2 here. School of Fish and a giant manta ray. That's not going to do it for him. And then we're going to use the last player and he gets 3 search die. I dropped 1. That's okay. I'll re-roll it. So that's a wild. And that is a search. So that's going to give him net him 2s and flip over 2. It's a dolphin and a humpback whale. So they didn't find the shark. If they would to have found the shark, they would go into combat phase. And if they don't find the shark, they go straight to the terror phase, which means that you're going to go ahead and flip over the island tile to reveal the terror the shark was on. So the shark was hidden right here. So that means that the hunters didn't find him and he gets to terrorize. He's going to flip that over. He gets to roll 3 of these die here. And for each of the sharks rolled, he gets a terror, which means he didn't get any sharks, so he wouldn't get any terror. However, if it did say you got terror, you get these tokens and you get to put them with himself. And that's how he would win the game. We would then move on to the hunter's response, which is basically if they don't fight him, they don't engage in combat, meaning if they were to have actually found him, on the space here, the turns before when they were searching, then they would have actually engaged in combat earlier and potentially not allowed the terror phase to take place. If the shark is found and they fight and they win, the shark doesn't get any terror, can't get any terror tokens and flip over. However, it didn't matter in this case because the shark still didn't get any terror, as it were. But we'll go ahead and do the fight system now too. So now we're going to do the hunter's response phase. We're going to put the boats back where they were to some extent, as well as the shark. And in certain cases, if the shark was fighting this hunter here, everybody else would be backups. But in this case, we're going to go straight to the terror phase and start giving out cards to all players. So now we're into the Terrorize phase. We're going to go ahead and show you how it works. Everybody's going to get a single card face down, as well as a card face up on top of it, just like the game 21. And then, just like 21, we're going to go all the way around the circle, doing hit and back and forth. The only thing different is, in this case, the dealer actually has to hit as well, going around in the circle. And just for purposes to show you how the game works, these are all going to be face up, just like this, so you can see them. Just to make life a little easier on everybody. Obviously, we're going for 23, not 21. So the shark card doubles any card that's on top of it. So this is now 12, this is now 10, and this one here says must hold or immediately take another card, which doesn't matter in this case. But if it was placed on top of you, then you'd have to draw another one. So then I'm going to ask people, do they want to hit or do they want to pass? This person only has 12, so they want to hit. They hit. Hunters may discard this card and one face-up shark card on their combat line when dealt. And they don't want to do that, so they're done. And the next player is going to take a hit. They got another shark card, so they may or may not want to. I guess they probably want to double the next one. And there. That's going to give them 16. I'm at 7, so I'll take a hit. That's a shark card for me. Now, as a shark, I'm able to, at any point, win if I have 2 shark cards on my board present. If you see 2 shark cards, the shark just instantly wins, and it doesn't matter. All right, this person's going to take a hit. There we go, 12, 13, 23 on the dot. Perfect. So he's going to keep that. And the next one, we'll have another hit. Uh-oh, 2 sharks. That's no good. He doesn't want that. So he can spend one of these tokens here to actually remove this card and take a new one. And you can always use your fight tokens to do that until you have no more. And the fight tokens do refresh. Okay, you can discard this card and a face-up shark card. He's not going to. He'll stay with that. 15, he'll flip this next one over. 16, that's now. Okay, that's a good. He's going to stay there. And I will take one more hit. Ooh, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Okay, so now when you bust, you don't say anything. You let people keep going, okay? But if you bust, you've busted, right? So you're still going to lose. But you don't say anything to anybody because you're trying to let them bust as well. He's going to stay. He's got 12. He'd probably hit again. Another shark card. And then he's going to stay as well. After that happens, we're going to look at the active players versus the ones that are just kind of helping. These guys are the ones that are helping here, right? So we're going to look at mine versus the active players. If he hit 23 on the dot, he would do 2 damage to me. If I hit 23, I would do 2 damage to him. However, otherwise, it's just 1 damage to either person. In this case, he would win because he would have 10 and then 2, which is 12 total. So he'd have 12 and I would bust, so he would do 1 damage to me, and we'd take this tracker here, and for each number of players on the board here, it's going to show you, as you can see here, this is 10, right? So it'll show you for 3 players I have 10 health, for 2 players I have 8, and for 4 players I have 13, so I would lose 1 health here. All the other hunters, if they won, which they also, none of them busted either, they're all going to get to draw a card from their decks as a reward. They can heal themselves up to 1, and I think they get also a reroll token as well. Then, after all this is done, if the shark is dead, the hunters are the winner. Or during the terror phase, if the shark managed to pull these terror tokens off and was able to get the required tokens he needed, which could be either 13 or 7 of this or 9 of this or whatever, then he would win. Otherwise, everything gets reset. All of these pieces here go off, and then you draw new ones based on the calendar card you're going to be getting. And so it would be 0, so it would simply be another 4 for these guys here, and you'd go and rinse and repeat. And play would continue until one person won, or one team won. So that is how you play the game Shark Island by Upper Deck. And I think there's a little couple of caveats I can mention. First of all, remember though, when there's 2 functions with rolling these action die for the players. First one is when you roll the action phase, you're always going to roll 3 and choose 2, and then the action phase is after, the search phase is afterwards, and that's when you're on the island. Then you roll based off of how many search die you have on your card, and those are all different. So this guy here has 3, so he'd roll his 3. However, some of them only have 2, and even less, maybe even 1. And then at that point, remember, if you find the shark in the search phase, and it tells you on here how it works. If you find the shark on the search phase, you go into the combat phase and fight the shark. If you beat the shark, you don't do the terror phase. However, if you don't find the shark in the search phase, you ignore the combat phase, go to the terrorize phase, and then perform this hunter's responses, which is what we did in the example. And the hunter's response is basically the same thing as fighting. It's just not going to give you the ability to not allow the shark to terrorize. So the idea is obviously fighting the shark earlier is going to make sure that they can't terrorize, meaning they're not going to get closer to their objective, and in which case you would get closer. And the shark, you're just trying to hide as best as possible and just hope and pray that they don't find you by getting lucky on those die roll. Anyway, that is the basic idea. Let me go ahead and tell you what I think about it. Well, first of all, when I saw Shark Island, I thought, what a great idea. I've been looking for a theme with sharks in it. I haven't seen anything like this, and this looked beautiful. The art is awesome in this game. The style of the box, all the inserts and everything, even the way the box is structured, it makes it nice and easy to put everything back. And they went above and beyond with production quality too. I mean, the only thing they really didn't do is the miniatures for ships and stuff, but it really doesn't need it. They even gave you this little thing here which you can actually take the die and, kind of like Yahtzee and roll the die, right? And everything is just high quality production stuff. You can even tell the cards are super thick. The game itself flows beautifully. It works. It's simple to understand, and as the phases go on, it's easy to grasp as well. Being the shark, you're going to be able to know the game probably even easier than other players because you have a nice board explaining everything on it, but you'll need to because everybody else is working against you. So, that being said, though, a couple qualms I have with this game. The first thing is, as we were playing it, the theme did not shine through for me. It didn't pop as a shark game. Realistically, all I did was I felt like I was trying to hide my token from other players, and they were trying to pull that token. I don't know why, but the shark theme just didn't come through as much as I would have liked it to. Even the battling theme, it seemed very weird how I was having to play the game 21, but 23 instead, and has the different actions on it and the cards. And while it is fun, I did enjoy it trying to use my fights to pull off better cards and whatnot. It gave me a little bit of a chance to beat them, as well as having my shark with his ability to get an instant win if I got the 2 shark cards. And there's a bunch of special abilities in the deck which were really fun as well. It just didn't feel like I was fighting anybody. It felt more like I was trying to prevent myself from messing up. And some of the strategy in the game is pretty much based on luck. I mean, realistically, if one hunter gets bad roll, if all the hunters get bad rolls, but one of them gets lucky and finds the search thing and flips it over and it happens to be the shark, well, I'm screwed as the shark, no matter what they're going to find me. So those were a couple things I was like, how the calendar deck was really cool. I really enjoyed that. I liked how it increased the amount of different tiles that are going to be put on the board, or reduced it and gave specific abilities for every single round, kind of like a new event that happened every single time. I liked all the different boards and how they kept track of health. The ability to roll the action die was really cool, choosing between the different actions, and also the nervousness of having to roll 3 sharks or having to use your reroll tokens. Luckily, reroll tokens are in a great supply in this game, so you're not likely to you will run out, but as long as you use them sparingly, you should be fine. The fact that all the different hunters have their own unique decks as well as their own unique actions is really cool as well. And all the art is pretty spectacular if you like this kind of deep blue sea style or even Jaws kind of feel for a game. Overall, though, the game is good. And if you like a game that is going to be based off of like searching, kind of like a pusher luck style game with a 1 versus many aspect, if you enjoy games that are going to have that little card, the 21 style aspect in it, you're probably going to like this game. If you're going for a really deep shark theme, I'd probably stay away from this one. It doesn't give me what I'm looking for in that aspect. It's a game I definitely play if somebody asked me to, but as to whether or not I pull it up myself, I don't know. Overall, it's a good game though, and if it looks interesting to you, you should check it out.